Okay, so hello everyone. I am so excited to be here with my friend Lauren. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Glenda, and I've been on the Teach for America team for almost 10 years, and I lead all our fundraising and development efforts. But more interestingly, I have a first grader named Evelyn who goes to Myers Park Traditional and has an amazing principal who is here with me today. So Lauren did the core in '08 in Charlotte, and I'd love for you to learn a little bit more about her.
Thanks, Glenda. Hi guys, I'm Lauren. I am in my 5th year as the principal at Myers Park Traditional School. And prior to that, I was a principal at my actual TFA placement school for 3 years. So I taught there for a while and held several different support roles prior to becoming the principal. And so I've worked at the CMS ever since my placement as a core member.
Such a beautiful trajectory. So I think this is just such a fun, unique little relationship that we have, and I'm excited to ask you some questions. So as a parent at Myers Park, I've been so just impressed and blown away and grateful for the really active PTA. And obviously this level of involvement from parents and the community just benefits the school and the teachers. And I know it's something that a lot of school leaders and just folks in our network aspire to. So given your knowledge about the challenges of engaging a parental community, what would be your advice to a school leader who is working to build community with student families?
Sure. So I think for me, the 2 things that have really helped, the first is you go to the people. So I think we always are asking people to come to school. So what are ways that we can go into their community and insert ourselves as the school into things that they're already comfortable with, that they're already familiar with, and make ourselves a partner in that. So at both schools, I found that to be super successful. I think in the virtual world, we're actually in a unique position to really leverage relationships with families in a virtual way. We have found at Myers Park Traditional that our parent participation has actually increased a lot in virtual world, because sometimes it's easier for a parent to log on than it is to physically come to the building for something, particularly for working parents, which we have majority of. So I think the virtual world has really helped connect as well.
That's awesome. Thank you. And then another great fun fact is that Lauren is a mom of twins. And as you know, I too have young daughters, 2 of them, Lucia and Evelyn. So have you started having any conversations with your girls or done activities to foster or encourage just an inclusive mindset given the world right now?
Yes, so that's super important to me. That is why I wanted to be the principal at Myers Park Traditional. My mother-in-law actually went to school there, and my husband a long time ago in Charlotte. And so it's had a special place before, but I think the diversity that it brings is extremely unique to schools in Charlotte. And I just think it's what makes us a terrific school. With my own kids, I'm super intentional about little things that I think make a big difference. So books that we read. I make sure that we're reading about people of color, that they see people of color in books, baby dolls, Barbie dolls, all the things that little girls like to play with. It's important to me that whether it's black or white or brown, that they see it the same and that it's all beautiful and that they want, all of it to be a part of what they're doing or what they're playing. My husband and I are pretty intentional too. On the weekends, we like to take them to parks or adventures outside of our neighborhood so that they're just exposed to different parts of Charlotte, different parks, because with that, they're seeing and meeting different people in the community as well.
Yeah, I think, that's been a reflection of mine during this last season, is just how much of a bubble that everybody lives in. And you really just have to be intentional if you want to expose both yourself and your loved ones to things outside your bubble.
Absolutely. Yep. And I think too, when we're being asked to stay at home a lot due to COVID and, practice social distancing and all the things that we need to do to stay safe, really finding ways in the home to bring it in, particularly kind of like I described earlier. And 2, if they ever ask a question, just making sure that my response is intentional about making sure that they appreciate diversity.
So one of our biggest focus areas as an organization, as you know, is just kind of connecting and galvanizing our network of alumni and core members, which is over 1,000 strong now in CPT. So as a veteran of TFA and an experienced school leader, what are some ways that you are still plugged into the network?
So my closest friend in Charlotte was a TFA core member with me. She no longer works in education, but we are still extremely close, and she will be my best friend for forever. So I think I definitely gained friendships out of that. In terms of professionally, TFA has given me a lot of opportunities to grow, particularly once I stepped into the school leadership arena. To this day, the most profound professional development experience I think I've ever had was I got to be a part of learning different schools through TFA, where you go in a cohort and you visit and travel to several different schools, but you get to go back to the same school several days in a row. So it really gives you an insight into the school. So I was lucky enough to go to Denver and got to go to a really cool elementary school that was just doing great work. They too had a young Caucasian principal who was meeting lots of different struggles in her work in Denver. And so I was able to connect with her, and we still email now and text message, particularly during the pandemic. It's been really helpful just to kind of bounce ideas off of one another in terms of things that we're struggling with. So that's been super helpful as well. And then honestly, for me, another big thing is hiring. Even though Myers Park Traditional is not a Title I school, we definitely serve students who live in Title I neighborhoods and students who choice out of Title I schools to come to Myers Park. And so it is really important to me that I, have teachers who look like students so that they can make that connection in school, but also it's important to me that I have teachers who want to and who can effectively engage all types of students, particularly my most at-risk students. So since being the principal at Myers Park, I have hired a lot of TFA alumni. As you know, Evelyn's teachers have been TFA alum at Myers Park. I've continued to hire more each year, and just they continue to make our school family awesome.
Yeah. I was super excited about that. Last year we had Natalie Parmenter, and this year Lauren Morissette. And I think actually to the earlier question, last year, thinking about MLK Day, which is coming up for us right now while we're recording this, Evelyn came home and was just like so impacted by the conversation that they had in her kindergarten classroom. And, it just really led to a more in-depth conversation, than I expected. And it was really good. And she was asking hard questions that for a parent, I really had to at that moment decide, how are we going to discuss racism with our daughter? And I just appreciate that she had, a leader in her school that was bringing that up and having that conversation with her. So we've been very happy with our alumni teachers, and also the other folks at Myers Park are amazing. But that's also really helped as I talk to donors about my own personal story to have that little aspect. And so the final question is, I think we can all agree this year has sucked for many reasons, and has been so challenging on a very deep level. And yet there are some bright spots. And for me, one of them is that I just gave up pants with buttons and zippers for a long time. I'm now back into normal pants at sometimes, but share with me what some of your pandemic silver linings have been.
Sure. So I think, as a working mom, you're always, particularly when you work in education and you're serving other people's children every day, I think you constantly kind of have this voice in the back of your mind that's make sure you take care of your own kids, make sure you have, you spend enough time with them. And so I've gotten to just spend time with the twins and see them grow in ways that I wouldn't have if we didn't have the pandemic. My husband also works, and he works a busy job, so we're two busy people. And so I've gotten just to spend more time with him too, and doing simple things like watching TV or going on a walk, or just things that maybe pre-COVID we probably didn't do enough of.
Right.
I also too, I think found by like mid-April, I was feeling like very stressed as a principal, more stressed as a mother. I had my 2-3-year-old twins at home who constantly wanted me, and I was trying to run a school. It was hiring season in the school. There were just so many things that were at play. And so I found myself feeling really, really anxious. And so I kind of just realized I got to stop, I got to pause, and I got to figure out how to take care of myself so that I'm a better mom, a better principal, a better wife, all of the things, right? So I kind of got hooked on a fitness journey. So since April, March, I've lost 30 pounds. But really more than the weight loss, I think the big thing for me is just being happy and not tired all the time. Actually had a teacher who she taught with me at my placement school. She was not a core member, but we started the same year, and she teaches at Myers Park for me now. And she stopped by my office right before the break, and she said, I just don't give up over the break, because you taking care of yourself is making you the best principal like you've ever been, Fowler. And you're always a good one. Like I like to work for you. She was like, but we can just all tell that you are mentally in a better place. So I think that's been really big for my staff, but I know it's also been really big for my family too, as well as myself.
Well, that's an inspiration. And like Lauren had already told me about this before this conversation, or I would have fallen on the floor just by like just sheer excitement for you, because I think like that is the biggest thing as a working mom and just a working parent in general, is finding a way to prioritize yourself, but also to justify that prioritization when there's
so hard, especially in a pandemic.
Yeah. So I'm still on the struggle bus with that, but you have really inspired me. And so I'm sure you've inspired others. And I just really appreciate you taking the time to chat. I know it's a crazy time. I'm currently outside because my house is done. So that's why I'm here. I know you're in an apartment while your house is being worked on.
All the things this year, all the things at once.
Yes. So just want to say thank you and wish you the best. I'm sure we'll be talking. And yeah, have a great week.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope that you have a terrific weekend.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.